All right, what up, fam? We are now live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Um, this is week what 89?
89. 89.
89. Yeah, now my Instagram doesn't want. Oh, now it's going through. All right, so guys, like and share this feed on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Got a good topic today. We're talking about vision versus reality. Vision versus reality. All right, so how was your week so far, Natalie?
So far, it was really good and really hectic at the same time.
Okay.
Got up to 8 people in my new cohort. Need 4 more. I'm looking for 4 more people. As you can see, the kids are in the background, so it's like the hectic and the and the business side. But things are moving along really good. My students are making strides in their business. This week I started, which is my first cohort is in 5th month this week. And so I told them, I said, now we got to start pushing those money goals. And people have been really hitting their goals. And I'm super excited about that. So it's been a good week. It's been definitely a good week. How about yourself?
It's been pretty cool this week. Of course, I was busy with Easter and stuff like that too. I just realized that I actually officially started teaching March of last month. So this is like my official 10th year teaching, which is cool. But what happened was I was trying to do a post because a few of my old students came to brunch yesterday. It was Sunday. And it was cool seeing them and just seeing what they're up to. Like my very first group I ever taught. And I was just like, wow, like, so what it made me just let me go through a phone and make a video of my 10th year teaching, go through the years. And it's crazy. I realized that I took a little break with teaching, right? And just to try, I thought that break was little. That break was 2 years, right? I only worked 2.5 months out that 2 years. Now I still taught, but I taught like kind of just with business, not so much in the classroom setting. And I realized how many gigs I had. I realized how many trips I took. Well, I was really out there. I didn't realize that. And now just thinking like I had that itch, that oh man, I think I want to go back out into that field again. But it made me realize that I feel like during that time I was more on task with the vision. I wasn't skipping a beat with my bills or nothing like that. And it made me realize that sometimes the reality of life overshadows your vision. And that's why I thought it was a good topic to talk about vision versus reality. So vision is just like kind of what you see. Like it talks about Habakkuk too, like write the vision, make it plain, which you talk about often. And the thing about a vision is um, you see a glimpse of where you want to go. You got some ideas in mind, you're empowered, but then sometimes reality doesn't match your vision because you got kids, you got budgets, you got not enough, is this, is that. And then you have to get to a point where it's like, okay, so if I have this vision, how do I get my reality to match this vision? Because sometimes it don't match. A lot of times it doesn't match, but it takes really getting a hold of what you believe to happen to manifest to say, hey, no matter what my reality is saying, I'm going to make this happen. Either I got to take a few steps to get there. All I know is I am going to get there because my reality must match my vision. And until you're there, you have to be really so dedicated to advancing yourself to get there to that vision.
Okay, so this is like one of my favorite topics because vision is basically my whole life word. And of course, I looked it up in the dictionary, and my favorite definition of it is the ability to think or plan the future with imagination or wisdom, right? And having a vision, like you said, Chef J, it does not match your reality a lot of the times, right? You're imagining something that does not currently exist or is manifested in real time for you. So you have to take yourself outside of the current reality in order to see the vision of a future. And it is the thing that compels you, that vision, that future reality, that place that does not yet exist, is the thing that compels you to keep moving forward. And a lot of the times I feel like a 9 to 5, because you know, it's nothing wrong with having a 9 to 5 or a corporate job, but as an entrepreneur, that 9 to 5 can become a hindrance to your vision for
Mhm.
so many different reasons, right? You can lose sight of the fact that you are called to entrepreneurship and called to build out this thing that doesn't exist. You could get comfortable in your current reality, especially if they're paying you. I heard somebody say
Mhm.
a 9 to 5 or a corporate job will pay you to leave your vision and focus on their vision, right? And so if
Yeah.
they're paying you good enough, sometimes you feel in the moment satisfied, and so you postpone pursuing the vision, pursuing that reality. But it can be so tricky if you don't have a
Mhm.
plan in place. Like you said, write the vision and make it plain. If there is no plan in place to get to the vision that you see currently, just with your eyes being closed, then you're never going to merge the vision and the reality. You're never going to see the manifestation of the thing that you are currently only seeing while your eyes are closed if you don't make a clear plan to get to that particular place.
Mm. That's so good on so many different levels. Yeah, that's something on different levels because when you start thinking about it, like I know I'm gifted at teaching, but I know that's not my only purpose, right? So sometimes I battle with personally is just like kind of what to do, when to do it, because um, I try to plan as much as I can. Because if I don't plan to be successful, teaching becomes like just throwing it around, you know. So for me to create order in my life, I have to always keep vision ahead of me because sometimes I can give too much more to work than I do my business, or I give too much work than I my business. So what I try to do now is like at 3 like Monday and Tuesday I do after school, but after that, the rest of the week I don't work after 3:05. I'll dedicate an hour to my business with social media and different things I'm working on. So right now I'm halfway through finishing my e-course, editing it, but I have to be so intentional about what I spend time with because it's so easy to go with the flow that you lose sight of the overall goal. Because sometimes I'm talking about, I'll just go with the flow, but what if this flow is leading us to, you know, Niagara Falls? You know, so it's good to monitor. Hey, this is where I want to go, but let me monitor how I get there. So keeping vision ahead of you is so important. I think keeping vision ahead of you is the most important thing because life happens. You know, life just happens, and life can get real raggedy, but it's my responsibility to say, hey, even though this is happening going on, I have to put the blinders on and stay focused on my race, because if I don't stay focused on my race, the vision, the goal, the promise, it's very easy to fall stagnated towards life. And to prevent that, you got to have moments that's in place that if this happens, this kicks up. If this happened, this kicks up. And I know it's so big to like even to like what I've been making sure I do daily is definitely like listen to a sermon. Like I try to keep myself motivated because sometimes it's so evident that life is so hard or challenging that we're not infiltrating good things into our life or having people speak positive over. So if we don't have that in place, it's very easy to let things fall by the wayside.
So I'm trying to like type and listen and all this stuff at the same time. But I love that. I love that. I put keep yourself motivated as you're pursuing the vision. I heard you say that, and keep the vision ahead of you, right? So that you're always moving toward that particular target.
Mhm.
One thing I definitely teach my academy members is to, when you're in the vision, because a lot of times we're in the vision and we're looking at all the things that we see in the vision, right? So for me, when I had a vision of being a business owner, a CEO of a company, when I'm
Mhm.
in my vision, I can see the desk, I can see the people, I can see my office. But what I can't see in the vision is me as the visionary. So I really
Mhm.
encourage my students to step outside of themselves and to see themselves in the vision. What does the visionary look like within the vision? And really having them focus on, who do you need to become in order to carry this vision out. We focus on the things that we will have so much that we forget that in order to have the thing, I have to become the person, and being the person is what expedites the vision so much more. It's like it's drawing the thing to you as you're walking closer to it, right? So it doesn't take as long because now I'm not just doing things that CEO does. I am becoming the CEO. I'm being that particular person. And once I be that person, I tell them all the time, it's like the things are just coming into place. It's like you're on an obstacle course and all of the things are just moving out of your way or coming into alignment because your being is what's attracting everything. So people focus so much on the things in the vision. And for me, I like to focus on who am I being in the vision? What do I need to work on internally so that I can carry this thing out?
That's really good. What came to mind was two different things. I say a lot in class, how you do anything is how you do everything. I think sometimes we do things without excellence because we don't understand the purpose of what we're doing. So like when it comes to my clients, or one of my students, like let's say we're just even something wiping the tables. And I'm like, no, hey, we have to add soap, water, and bleach. And then after that, we use this finishing spray. The reason why is because we want to give excellence with even our cleaning and how we shine. But I think oftentimes too, because we don't deem it as important, we'll go about a wayside. But the importance of knowing the vision of it is because when you can see the end, everything you do matters, right? It's this movie on Netflix that Denzel Washington played, and I saw it the other day. It was actually pretty good. And the guy, Denzel was saying, he was a former detective, and he was saying it's about the small details. It's not always the big details, because I think they were trying to investigate a murder. So I think it was something like a roast beef sandwich the guy had, but it was something about that had to help them solve the case. But it's sometimes the little things that you're not paying attention to or giving enough attention to that is the reason why there's not success in the area. And sometimes I have to look at and say, hey, Jay, all right, so these are the areas that you're lacking in. What are the little practices that you can do to make it better? Because the little becomes great always, right? And I think sometimes you can't. My mom always said to me, the scripture, don't despise small beginnings. And it's oftentimes too because you don't think it's important. Oh, it's just that, I'll just let it slide. But once you let one thing slide, it builds up into a whole mountain that next you realize that, man, what did I do? Like, why is it like this? Because once you keep letting things slide little by little, it messes up the impact of what you have. So it's important to really start to examine what you're doing, because knowing the vision will help you move differently. Like when I realized the overall picture is X, Y, and Z, I move differently. Every step I take is more about purpose, about what I'm doing, because I want to make sure that as I elevate with excellence, because it's those little things that we don't pay attention to that can spoil it for the whole big plan. It's like when you have a surprise birthday party and somebody says something to the birthday person, it was that little conversation that messed up the whole plan that people have been planning for months. So I realized that in order for me to get where I want to access the full vision, I have to every single day monitor my actions, because I want to make sure that I receive the vision fulfillment, but I have to take those necessary steps to create impact in my life, because it's not just about me, it's about those around me as well too. So I have to look at the vision. I have to look at what steps I'm taking and who am I servicing in this process, because I want to make sure when I serve people, I'm serving with excellence, because it's not just about me. There are other lives that depend on your vision. So you have to realize that, hey, sometimes reality will tell you, no, you can't do it. But vision will say, hey, listen, this may not work in this way, but I may have to edit myself to receive the fullness of that vision.
Sorry, y'all, it's taking me so long to unmute, but it's the end for me. It's the end for me. He said, when you can see the end, everything else you do matters so much more. And that's the power of having a clear vision. Your purpose fuels you. The why, right? Fuels you so that you can consistently walk towards that vision. Like having that end goal in mind, knowing that this is the destination that I'm going for, that creates a clear path for you to take. Like you're not just taking opportunities just because opportunities arise. Because as you say, how you do one thing, well, that's how you're going to do, everything, right? The little becomes great always. I'm taking notes, Chef J. And so if you're doing things with a spirit of excellence, eventually you will become great. Greatness cannot be hidden forever. Ask the unlikely heroes like Mother Teresa, like Martin Luther King, like Medgar Evers, like all those people that we still talk about today started in the dark, started doing the little things really, 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 really good. And they got great and eventually became known, because you can't hide greatness forever. Look at Mahatma Gandhi. I always say his name wrong, right? But in order to maintain that, you have to have a clear vision. You have to have an end result. What do you want the end to look like? Because every step along the way now matters so much more, because you have an end goal in mind. When you don't have a destination, when you don't have an end goal, you get pulled and swayed from side to side from the winds and the waves, because you don't even know where you're going. But when you have an end goal, the path literally lights up. It's like, nope, nope, yes, 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 nope, yes, no. And even when you make a mistake, because you have that vision in mind, you can always redirect. It's like putting a destination into the GPS. You're driving. This happens to me all the time. I put a destination in the GPS, and then the first couple of minutes I'm driving along a normal path. Like I'm supposed to go pick up the kids from let's say art club today, but I usually pick them up from, soccer. So I'm driving my normal path and I'm going to soccer, and the GPS redirects me because I put in the end destination. But if I don't put the end destination in, I get taken away because I habitually do this thing all the time. I'm going in the wrong direction. I'm like, oh my gosh. Or the other day we were driving, where were we driving to? We were driving to church for Easter. And we go to church, on Sunday and on Wednesday. But my husband goes to work literally every single day. So he got into this thing where he's just driving. And all of a sudden he's passing. I was like, wait, he just passed the church. He was like, my mind just automatically went to going back to work. That's exactly what it is when we do not write the vision down, when we do not keep it before us, when we don't make it clear and make it plain. When things and opportunities come, we are swayed and pulled in any direction. Or your feelings. Just think about your feelings. Like, you ain't feel like getting up and working in a business today. If you have a vision, that's the thing that helps you, not just, it fuels you to get up and say, you know what? I have an end goal in mind. I can't just sit here and do nothing today. I've got to make this thing happen. Like, that part for me was everything. You have the end in mind, everything else you do matters so much more.
Oh yeah, that's so true. And speaking of that, here's six reasons why the end goal in mind is crucial. All right, the first thing is it gives direction and focus. All right, so that clear direction helps you make decisions and actions on purpose when you have a direction and focus. Second thing is it allows you to be motivated. Knowing what you're working towards can be a powerful motivator. It gives you a sense of purpose and drive. It makes it easier to overcome obstacles and stay committed to your efforts. That motivation is key, where sometimes you may be motivated by what's around you, the people in your life. If like knowing your why is so important, because if you know your why, it allows you to make better impact, to know, hey, I'm motivated because of X, Y, and Z. The thing about also having end goal in mind is a measurement of progress. End goal serves as a benchmark for measuring your progress and allows you to track how far you come and how much further you have to go. It allows you to make the necessary adjustments. So as you're going along the line, it's like, you know what? The goal is to get 10% of this done today. So these are 10 things I have to get done to make it through that percent. And through that day, I may have 5 hours to do it. So it makes it measurable, my progress. Like even my e-course, my goal was to do it in 1 week. Then I realized how much I have to add to it. I'm like, you know what? I might need to do this in 3 weeks to get it the full attention I need. Prioritization number 4. When you have a clear goal, you can prioritize what tasks need to go first. Like when I'm doing a recipe, by reading it first, getting the vision of what I'm trying to create, I'm able to say, you know what? I need to edit this because this is not as important as this for right now. Like, for example, is if I'm making, let's say, chicken Alfredo, the first thing I'm going to do is let me either get my chicken going or let me get my pasta on, because I can do this in this amount of time. So it's good to prioritize things when you have the end goal in mind. The next thing is accountability. the end goal helps you provide accountability for yourself, because I know I got to get this done. If I want to see this happen in my life, I have to do these necessary steps, and I have to be accountable for it. Because if I am saying I want to do this, or if I say I am this coach, or if I say I'm this chef, or whatever it is, and I know I have a client that's paying me X amount of dollars to do something, I have to get it by a certain thing, certain time. So I am held accountable because people are trusting me with this part of their life. And it also provides a sense of achievement, where it's so great when you make miniature goals to accommodate a big goal, because now I'm able to, like, man, I did that today. Like me and Natalie will talk about, started with just making your bed. Even though that may be something small, that's the first thing you can accomplish every single day. Where days you feel like a failure, you can say, at least I did this today. And now let me go to the next step, because I want to elevate from just doing level 1 activity. I want to go to level 2. So I want to get these 6 things done. So first thing is direction and focus. Second thing is motivation. Third thing, it helps you measurement of progress. Fourth, helps you prioritize. 5, accountability. And 6, a sense of achievement. So those are the 6 things. And I'm going to put this in the chat, actually.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love the measurement part, right? Because that's another thing that I teach on, having the quantitative and qualitative measurement when it comes to making sure that you are pursuing the vision. But I love that you talked about it in a with a different perspective, as how close you're getting to the vision, like how much you are moving, how much you're moving through and working through to get to that place, and how you looked at where your vision was and your timetable was, and then you had to make the necessary adjustments because you had essentially been like, oh, I think I could get this done in a week, and it was way bigger than you realize.
Yeah.
That right there spoke volumes, because so many times in the marketplace, we have this huge vision, but we don't realize it's huge until we try to quantify it, until we actually measure it out. Like, wow, I thought it was just going to be a simple thing, but it's bigger than I thought. And it's not a bad thing. You just have to go back and reassess and have a better, plan mapped out, so that you can actually get the vision, to see the vision that you've already seen, right? It's not that I can't get it done, so you abandon it and do something else. You said, it's just going to take more time. I just need to measure this more accurately. I just need to measure how much time, how much energy, how much focus I'm going to need to take in order to pursue this goal that I have in mind, in order to have this vision come to pass. You didn't say, you can't get done in a week, I'm done. And so many of us, so many people in the marketplace do that. They'll say, I can't get it done in a week, I'm done. Or, somebody else did something similar to what I'm doing, so I'm done. Or it's like, even though you got the vision, you use certain things that are inaccurate to your measurement to give you an excuse not to continue to pursue it. But you said, no, the vision will come to pass. It just might take a little bit longer because it's a lot bigger than I anticipated. Now that right there, man, y'all need to take some notes.
It's funny. We used to always talk about pivoting. Probably when we first started the first year of us doing it. Look at us saying first year. But in the first year, we talked a lot about pivoting. And I think in moments of uncertainty, you have to have an automatic reset button to jump to the next level. Like a lot of electronics always have a reset button. Like sometimes you got to let it cool off and then it resets. And that reset or that pivoting moment, it allows you to see things, in a different light. But I realized it's not that it wasn't meant for you to overcome this, it's meant for you to find a different way. And I think that builds a certain type of ingenuity in you to realize that, hey, it didn't work this way, but let me recreate it this way. Let me pivot this way. And I think that, like, when I was doing business full time, I was pivoting like crazy because it was just stuff always happening. Like, job gives certain security, which is good, right? But when you're in the thick of it as an entrepreneur full time, it is a pivot on pivot on pivot on pivot, where I have to be so mindful of, hey, I got to do it this way. Let me try this way. But it builds a certain type of strength in you that you didn't know you had. Just thinking about Mother's Day, this is my 14th year doing it. And I thought about the first 4 years, right, doing this. The first year was great. Second year was less ticket sales. The third year, it was like maybe 15 people that showed up, right? But it taught me that, Josh, you have to be so creative with your content. And this before when content wasn't a big thing, but you have to be so creative with your advertising skills. So now I'm at a place where it's like we got to turn people away because we don't have enough. But it taught me how to be hungry about business, to be more motivated about hustling, like with just what you like. When it's your gift and when it's your vision, you move differently. And I feel like when I pivoted from it just being like an event where, oh, I'm used to people coming. No, I don't care how many followers. Like I think on Facebook, I have like maybe like 43,000 followers. That don't mean nothing. I still got to do the work. It's so many things that come on social media every single day that just to stay in front of people is so important. Where sometimes some videos may get thousands of likes, some may get only 5 likes, but that doesn't mean I stop being consistent, because I have to know that if this is my vision, I want it to happen, I have to pivot every time. Maybe I need to go door to door with flyers like I used to. Maybe I need to go on car to car, do a flyer team. Like, you have to know that, because I'm like, I feel so bad when businesses shut down, but I'm thinking as a business coach, do they do everything they possibly can to make it work? You have to be so clear about building momentum where it seems like, hey, you know what? It's not working out. Let me pivot, but let me never stop the momentum, because once you stop the momentum, it's so hard to grow. Like it's easier to pivot when you keep the momentum up. I just realized that, like, about me, like, I love being a chef, but if you go on my page, like, more of my job is content creation than it is actually cooking the food. So I may have like 4 or 5 gigs a month, but I do content every single day. So for me, it's just like, if I want to build the momentum, because you might be at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, and people see you working. Like, I love the thing about, if you look about Boaz and Ruth, Boaz saw Ruth working, and I think, and that took notice of him. So a lot of times too is when people see you working in your field or in your industry, is they're more prone to take notice of you because you're working. And I think so oftentimes we don't get up enough to just work. Let me just put a little energy towards what I'm doing, and let me be consistent about it, because you just never know who is watching you. Right, like this young lady who booked me for a gig this weekend. I catered an event probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and she said, "Chef, I never forget about your business." And she had a wonderful time. I'm like, "Yo, how did you know me?" And this was years ago. This gig was, but she always has seen me working. Right. So, like, what are you doing with your daily action? Are people see you working in your field? Do they see you hustling and bustling? Do they see you branding yourself? Do they, like, because you people want support, but are you supporting yourself? Are you promoting yourself? Like, every time I cook, I'm recording what I make. Even if it's something for me, it's just because I can post it on my stories. You just never know who's watching you, because when it's time to be noticed, you've already been working, that you've been perfecting your skill set and who you are as a person.
Man, that's so good. That is so good. I was watching, and I shared this earlier today, Freaknik. I don't know if you've seen that on Hulu. They have the
Oh
Freaknik,
yeah.
the history behind it. And they talked about how the Atlanta rappers, the Atlanta music industry, they were, before Freaknik, having a hard time promoting their own content in the city of Atlanta, right? And that the
Mhm.
first Freaknik, they played a lot of, almost all of New York based artists, right? And they wanted to change the game. So they collectively got together with Jermaine Dupri and a couple of other artists.
Mhm.
Outkast was part of that, and they decided that they would put Atlanta on the map when it comes
Mhm.
to the music industry. And they were going to use the opportunities that Freaknik provided in order to do so. And they came together collectively with one vision to say Atlanta is going to be well known in the music industry as a city that produces artists. And within a year, because they had one vision, and they decided with the vision that they were going to promote and market Outkast first. And then after
Mhm.
Outkast did good, they would, have the other artists one after the other, on there. By the next year, the following year, the music had changed for Freaking. It wasn't just, New York rappers anymore. They were really promoting Atlanta rappers, so much so that the local radio stations started playing Atlanta rappers. They got a whole radio station in Atlanta specifically tailored around and the Atlanta music industry and the scene. So when you have a vision that is so compelling, right, you're able to not just move that thing forward by yourself, because if it's big, it can't be done alone. You're able to now allow other people space and room to help you promote that thing, to help you push it forward. And that's where you see the acceleration occurs. A lot of people talk about this is the year of acceleration and we're going to be accelerating and all this stuff, but the acceleration does not come alone. You have to come along some other people, or people have to come alongside of you and to help you advance this vision, because the vision, if it's big, if it's definitely from God, then it's for the entire world to feed off of. The production of what is coming out of your vision is for an entire nation. It's not just for you. It's not just for your business. It's not just for your household. The whole point of having a business, anyway, is to revive the economic system of the country. That's why we're in existence. We are necessary entrepreneurs, business owners. We are necessary for the country's economic system to thrive and survive. And we don't really see it in that light. We're just seeing it from the point of, oh, it's my vision. I just want to see it come to pass. But no, it is a requirement. We got to start thinking outside of ourselves and realize that I'm adding to this or multiplying to this economy, to this nation, to this country, even the entire world, by the vision. The simple little vision that I have is adding to a whole economic system. We got to start thinking big. I think we think too small of the vision that we have because of where we began. Like Chef J said, it starts small, but it never stays small.
Oh yeah, and I think you said something about having a compelling vision. Do you even believe in your vision? I think the first part about vision is it is compelling because you want to make sure that what you're doing, how does it impact people? I remember when I first started teaching, really 2014, people complain about how the kids are this, they that. And I'm like, maybe it's you, maybe you're not compelling enough to get them to buy into what you're selling them or what you're offering them. And so I had a desire to create a student run catering company. And it was just like, wow, because nobody's really doing that. Like nobody was doing it. And it's people really aren't doing it now. But the student run catering company, the vision was so compelling for other people. People would just like, Chef, we just want you to bring the students by. There's so many opportunities that opened up from different cities, different mayors, different, like even millionaires who wanted my students to come in because they were so proud of what was going on. So I realized it's just like with your vision is when you know why you do it, it makes it easier. So when I would bring my students to different events, I would tell them what was going on. Always have something to offer besides just like my business. But what do you have to offer? Talk about yourself. I will always make time for every event for them to network with other people, because sometimes it's just like no opportunities would even come if your vision was not there. So your vision provides success to other people where they're like innocent bystanders, where it's just like me hanging around Natalie. I just never know who may be attracted to my buy-in based off of what Natalie is doing. So sometimes we get in certain doors and we're in certain rooms that we have to be mindful of that, because it's like, wow, like it's just not about you. It's not about just me, but it's about collectively, how do we help each other out? So your vision is so important to execute because you're not the only person that benefits from your vision. Like it's so good to have other people in mind, where even too, when I do gigs, you help these students that I work with, achieve greatness, keep them off the street, keep them from doing stuff that may, because now they're active, because we always do gigs. So now they're actively doing something positive. So they'd be too tired to do nothing crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when you realize the power of your vision, the power of who's connected to your vision, you move differently about the importance of going forward, of going against your reality sometimes of lack, to say, hey, you know what? I may be lacking in this area, but let me change my thinking. Let me change my mindset. Let me connect with other things. Let me read more. Let me watch more motivational stuff, because what happened is what you put in will come out. So if I'm gonna put positivity in me, it's gonna come out of me. So I think it's so important to just really get to the point where my reality will not overshadow my vision, and my vision needs to be compelling. I need to make sure that my vision is in alignment, because sometimes we may get a word to do something, but it's not meant for us to do it now. It's meant for us to prepare to do it. So part of our vision is to write the vision, make it plain. This may be a 10-month vision. This may be a 20-year vision. So it's good to know a times table and to get clarity of that and to realize that, hey, I have to make sure that I am attractive with pursuing my vision, because I want others to draw in to buy into what I do. But it starts with just being compelling, to being consistent, to know how to be accountable, to be adaptable, where I can adapt to different situations, because everything is not perfect. Perfect reality will knock you, on your behind sometimes, because life be lifing, but no matter how life is, I have to always realize that, hey, this is my vision. So I want to experience the fullness of God's gift to me by pursuing this vision and making it just do what it do. That's it.
Type in, life be life, and but God be guiding. That's it. That's all.
That's good. That's good, guys. So, guys, if you're looking for coaching with clarity or purpose, reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here to help you make a difference. We believe in you. We believe in each other. And sometimes you just need one person to believe, and that's all you need. And closed mouths don't get fed. So if you need help with coaching, if you have a burning desire to get something out, a product, a service, a business, a ministry, whatever you have, we're able to help and get you find your purpose and get clarity of it. We're here to help. Let's make it happen, because we want to make you sure that after this first quarter, you end the rest of the year strong. You still got 3 more quarters. So don't be offended by it. Let it know you can do it. But guys, like and share this feed as well too. If you have any questions, just DM us. We're here to help. All right. So have a wonderful week on purpose.